Does cost of living have you rethinking where you're living? Today, we're going to break down the hidden costs of living in Denver and break down a couple of the secret things people are not talking about and hidden costs when it comes to moving to the Denver metro. Guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tim Campman, your host for Everything Denver, Colorado, where we break down all real estate things in and around the Denver metro area. So hit me up when you're thinking of your move here. I would love to help you out on your relocation to the Denver metro. Talking about cost of living, especially for 2025, what's changed, what's stayed the same, what's gone up, what, if anything, has gone down. We're going to break it all down for you right now. So starting off with housing, and Denver's cost of living in general is a little bit higher than the national average. The national average for housing, a single family home in the United States right now about $405,000, and in the city of Denver we're right about $600,000, and you'll find that fairly consistent throughout most of the Denver metro area. A lot of the suburbs for mid-level home, you're going to be spending probably around $600,000. Now some areas you will get more for your money than some others. If you're looking to move into the kind of urban downtown area and you're looking for something just a very small, one bedroom, one bath, you can find things as low as $200,000, but that is going to be a very small footprint, New York style shoebox living in the heart of Denver for that price. So if you're looking to get into the Denver metro area, plan on around $500,000 to $600,000 for an entry-level home, and then obviously going up from there, and we have a lot of neighborhoods that surpass $1 million. It can be as much as 40% higher than a lot of areas of the country, but take that with a grain of salt, because if you're moving from a place like San Diego, California, West Coast, or New York, or Chicago even, you're going to find that the housing is much more affordable and you get a lot more for your money in the Denver metro area than those other expensive pockets of the country. So cost of living can be relative as where you're moving from. If you're coming from one of those coastal cities or Boston or New York, you're going to be very pleasantly surprised at the price of housing and how far your dollar goes. Okay, now we're talking about hidden fees or secret things that nobody is talking about. Something you have to be concerned about when you move to Denver is the rising cost of insurance. So housing insurance, property insurance has gone up over the last few years. Colorado has been determined to be a more of a climate risk area than other parts of the country, which is a little odd because we don't have that much extreme weather other than hailstorms and some of the wildfires in the high country. In the Denver metro, your risk for wildfire is extremely low, and you're really not at risk for fire danger unless you live somewhere further to the west in the mountainous region. And towns like Genesee and Evergreen are kind of the closest to the metro area that might still have a wildfire risk. And then as you move further into the mountains, yes, obviously, and in towns like Boulder and Nederland, the risk can go up from there too. So housing insurance has gone up quite a bit. You do have to be concerned with hailstorms out here. That is the most likely event that is going to cause you to have a claim against your house or a claim for your property insurance, but be prepared for higher insurance costs in Colorado. Hidden cost number 2 is the HOA fees that come along with some of these neighborhoods. Now, as you move out from the inner part of Denver, you will find more master plan communities or subdivisions like Highlands Ranch, where subdivided all of the land and built specific pockets in different neighborhoods. And most of these are going to come with an HOA. Some will range anywhere from $100 a quarter up to $300 or $400 a month, which can be a little bit excessive. So always want to make sure you're identifying what you're getting for the money in those HOAs. If you're just paying $300 a month for them to tell you when to paint your house and what color you can paint your house and how short to cut your grass, if all they're doing is jumping inside your business, it's probably not a place that you want to live and pay that high of an HOA. But if you are in a neighborhood with an HOA and it's a more reasonable cost and they're providing a community pool and they take care of the grounds around your neighborhood, or maybe that comes with added snow removal in the winter months or things like that, then the HOA can be worth it. We do see generally that most homes inside of an HOA neighborhood do appreciate a little bit more and a little bit quicker because the property values of the whole neighborhood are being kept up and watched. That's why you got to make sure you hit me up. Make sure we can identify the perfect neighborhood for you, whether that's HOA or non-HOA. We can find the perfect place for you here in the Denver metro. Okay, what do utility costs look like in the Denver metro area? And as a state that does produce some of its own energy with oil and gas drilling and some fracking going on here, we do have a little bit lower energy costs than some other places in the country, like California. Your average utility bill can range from about 150 a month to 250 a month in most cases. Now, I personally notice that my electric bill is really high in the summer. This is because my AC runs off the electricity. And so in the summer months, my electric bill alone can be $250, $300. Again, this is a bunch of kids living in this house, leaving the lights on and all kinds of different electronics going on all the time. So yes, it's probably a little bit higher than if you're just moving out here with two people. But in the dead of winter, that kind of flips and the gas bill is higher than the electric bill, or at least it balances out. So while the electricity is high in the summer with the AC running to keep it cool, the gas is almost turned off. It's almost non-existent. It's 20, 30 bucks a month for a gas bill in the middle of June and July where it's nice and warm out and you're not using it to heat your house or anything like that. It's going to be a lot cheaper. But when you get to the dead of winter, that gas bill is going to go up. And in the middle of winter, anywhere from $100 to $150 for natural gas bill. Again, it's a house with a lot of people, heating a lot of water, keeping it warm, kids leaving the doors open so that cold air is coming in and out. It may be higher in my particular situation than yours. Now, something people ask when they move out here and something that gets pushed in Colorado really hard is solar panels and solar power. And while I have seen certain instances where it is beneficial and does, take off the burden of some of the higher electric cost, I haven't seen them by and large be that successful in reducing the amount of energy or producing the amount of energy to offset the cost of the power usage. What I usually find is the solar panels will produce just enough to power to offset the cost of the monthly payment for some of these solar panel loan payments. And most of these loan programs are about 20 years to 25 years long, anywhere from $100, $200 a month for the payment on the panels. And most of the time, they're just barely breaking even, producing $100 to $200 or $150 worth of electricity a month that you're not paying to Xcel or whatever power company you have, versus the payment you have on those solar panels to pay them off. I would say it's kind of an overhyped and underperforming asset here in Colorado. Even though we do have 300 days of sunshine a year, I haven't seen enough of a benefit for it to make it worth it. Okay, next let's talk about transportation costs and what it costs to operate a motor vehicle here and what, if any, hidden costs are associated with that. So car registration in Colorado is a little bit higher than some other places around the country that have a flat registration rate. Our registrations are based off of the value of the vehicle. So if you're buying a brand new $70,000 SUV, your registration costs are going to be pretty high, right? $1,000 to $1,500 a year to register your car just to have the state give you your license plates and say, yes, you can drive on our roads. If you do have a cheaper car, usually after that 10-year mark, the registration costs go down significantly. Some of my older cars are only $100, $120 a year to register for the plates and the stickers and everything. So that can be a little bit of a shock to people moving here that come from a place where it's a flat rate, $25, $50 to register their car every year. Other things to factor in with transportation, gas is usually a little bit lower here than some parts of the country like the West Coast, Oregon, Washington, and California. Right now we're sitting at about $2.89 a gallon, which is not terrible. I know some people, my friends in California, have not seen a 2 in front of a gas price or even a 3 in front of a gas price in years. So yes, we have that going for us. It does fluctuate like it does through the rest of the country. And then we do have some toll roads here in Colorado. Now, those are generally not exclusive where, hey, the only way you're going to get to this place is via a toll road, so you're going to have to pay it regardless. But I will say it is worth it for a lot of those trips if you're making frequent trips. If you are making frequent trips out to, let's say, the airport and you really don't want to fight the traffic on I-25 trying to get up to the airport, the C470 loop can be a very valuable and stress-relieving drive versus going and sitting on traffic on I-25. So it is something to consider if you live on the eastern side of Colorado, the Denver metro, like Aurora or Southeast Parker, and you're going to be making trips out to Denver International Airport. It might make sense for you to get an E470 toll pass. And that'll range anywhere from $50 a month to $100 a month, depending on how many times you utilize that tollway and how often you drive on it. Now, if you're planning on using public transportation, that is an option here, although our public transportation system is very average at best, I would say, run as reliably or as efficiently as some of those ones in the major metropolitan areas like Chicago, New York, or Boston. So if you are coming here expecting you utilize public transportation, you can expect to pay $115 per month on a RTD pass. Now, this will give you access to all the rail lines and all the bus stops throughout the Denver metro area. And while you can utilize it and make it and do your commuting through the public transportation system, I would say Colorado is pretty car dependent. You're going to be much better off if you can have your own vehicle and pay for your own transportation that way. Okay, cost of water and utilities. So we talked about our energy costs and some of those utilities, but water is its own entity and can be expensive in some areas of the Denver metro. Colorado is very dry and deserty state, so water comes at a premium. And your average water bill can range from $100 to $200 in most metropolitan areas. It may be higher or lower in some pockets that have their own water district and have to have their own and have to charge their own for more conservation efforts, and this may be more or less in some metropolitan districts where they have their own individualized water treatment plants and have to comply with the state regulations and guidelines, but plan on $150 to $200 in most cases for water. Mine usually runs in the summer about $150 because I'm watering the lawn, the yard green, and your other vegetation, but in the winter it drops closer to 110, 120, so that's also with 5 kids, wasting a lot of water. Now let's talk about some recreation opportunities. Now you can buy passes to some of the national parks or state parks, and you can actually register your vehicle when you pay for your license plates and pay an extra $30 for access to all of the Colorado state parks, which is kind of a nice benefit. But some parks are not part of that package, so you may end up paying to get access to some of those state parks. But if you're looking for skiing and snowboarding and some of the winter adventures here, ski passes can run anywhere from like $500 to $2,000, and then include your ski rentals in there or your purchasing of ski boots, snowboard boots, all the winter gear that you're going to need from there. It can get kind of expensive. So if it's something that you're going to invest a lot of your time in and go up on a lot of weekends, those passes can be valuable. If you're looking for just a one day to go up and experience it, ski rentals are probably going to run you $50 to $100. The ski rentals are probably going to run you anywhere from $50 on the low end to about $100 for just skis and boots. And then your lift ticket for a day up there is going to run anywhere from $200 to $250. Now, if you go during the week, it might be a little bit cheaper, but it has become a quite expensive hobby here in the Colorado area. So if you are thinking of using that as some of your primary recreation, just budget accordingly. Now let's talk about groceries and your day-to-day cost of living stuff. Now, groceries here tend to run anywhere from 5 to 10% higher than the national average. I don't really know why. It's very frustrating, especially when you got a big family or something where you're feeding a lot of people. And the other thing that has gone up drastically, and it's related to grocery and energy costs and wage increases, I'm sure, is eating out. So average cost of a meal eating out, if you're going to go to a restaurant, anywhere from $35 to $40 a person on just a mid-level or entry-level restaurant. And even the fast food's gotten expensive. For an average fast food meal, it's going to be $11 to $13 here in the Denver metro. So eating out has definitely got expensive. Groceries have gotten expensive, but still much more cost-effective to eat at home and buy your own than to be eating out and going. Let's talk about daycare and after school care for the kiddos. If you do have something and both parents are working and you're going to need to have daycare during the time that you're at work or some after school care, daycare can run anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 a month. So, which seemed kind of crazy to me, but that's because it's more than my first mortgage payment even was. But daycare has gotten quite expensive. And if you're looking for just some aftercare classes or things for kids to do, that can run anywhere from $500 to $700 a month for those after school activities if you need someone to pick up or watch your kid when you're moving here, which I know if you're relocating and you don't have family out here already, that could be something that you have to plan for and have set in motion before you start your jobs or get too far down the line. So cost of living here is a little bit more expensive. Now, median income in the Colorado area is higher, about $125,000. median household income, and that's generally with both folks working. Single earners on average make around 84 to 85,000 here in the Denver metro area. That'll vary a lot, but average household income generally ranges from 100 to 125, and you can make it. It's not as comfortable as you might think, especially if you're coming from somewhere where you're making 75 and you're like, man, I'm going to be making 100. This is going to be great. A lot of that will get eaten up in just day-to-day cost of living stuff. Always good to plan ahead. Guys, if you found this video helpful, and I hope you did on your move to Denver, hit me up at the information on the screen. I would love to help you with your relocation to Colorado. And if you are thinking of moving here, but you're not exactly sure, which area might be the best, or you have a trip planned out here, but you're not ready to start looking at houses, obviously, I have several local guides to different cities and suburbs in and around Denver. Everything from local restaurants, cafes, parks, neighborhoods for you to check out. If you'd like access to those local guides, I would love to get them into your hands. So if you're watching this video, comment guide down below, and then I'll connect with you and send you over via email all these local guides so you can experience all that Colorado has to offer.